if you have this or this or that or even that, then the probability that you have insulin resistance is a 100%. And if you're looking for a video that is going to teach you how to lower your insulin resistance in just a couple of days, you've jumped on the right video. Because in this video, I am going to teach you 6 practical tips that is going to help you lower your insulin resistance in just a couple of days. In a few days, actually. In a few days, you're going to see notable changes in your insulin levels. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Number 1, drink lots of water. Drinking water is pretty much underrated in our societies, and I think I'm even a culprit because yesterday I was doing laundry and as at 12 p.m. it just dawned on me that I had not drank water the entire day, and I was like, wow. So I didn't drink water from morning to that afternoon, and I think this is a situation where most of us find ourselves. And one strategy that I've actually developed to resolve this issue is putting the water very close to my bed, so that anytime I wake up, it is going to serve as a reminder to drink my water first thing in the morning before I come out from my bed. So you can also adopt that, because drinking water is imperative if you want to lower your insulin resistance. What it does is that it helps the kidney. Okay, it helps your kidneys to flush out or to excrete the excess sugar that has accumulated in your bloodstream. So staying hydrated is it's very, very, very imperative. Number 2, engage in moderate exercise. So recently I read an article that stated a very interesting fact that if you exercise regularly, you're actually prolonging your longevity by 3%. You're increasing your lifespan by 3%. When I saw this, trust me, I was wowed. I was like, wow, this is too good to be true, because how is it that working out or exercising regularly, how is it that this can prolong your longevity? I was wowed by it. So I think this is an interesting fact that you want to note, because this is going to serve as a motivation for those of us who sometimes feel reluctant. Now, when it comes to lowering your insulin resistance, you would want to work out, you will want to exercise, because it helps to stimulate your muscles to absorb the excess glucose that has accumulated in your bloodstream. So when this happens, you are lowering your blood sugar levels completely. And this is what this video is all about. Okay, now I want to start exercising. What kind of exercise would you recommend if I want to lower my insulin resistance? Okay, you can start with cardio, or you can start with strength training. But what I always recommend, and what has been tested and proven scientifically, is the HIIT workout. HIIT basically stands for high intensity interval training. And for those of us who are hearing HIIT for the first time, it's let's think of it as a sprint and rest workout. Let's look at this analogy to help us better understand the HIIT workout. Let's assume you are running to catch a bus at a bus station. What do? You sprint as fast as possible to catch up with the bus, and this is what we call the high intensity effort. Now when you reach the bus station, you rest to catch your breath. This is what we call the low intensity recovery. And so when it comes to the exercising part, it involves the highly intense part, then you rest, then you go back to the intensity, then you rest, you go back, you rest for a few seconds, you come back to it, it's highly intense, then you come back to rest, then you go back to it, then you come back to rest. So that kind of back and forth, going intense and then resting, going intense and resting, is what we call the HIIT kind of workout or HIIT exercise, and it is highly recommended if you want to lower your insulin resistance. Okay, so you can do that for 15 minutes, you can do that for 30 minutes, you can do that for 1 hour, you can even go 2 hours if you want to. The third tip to help lower your insulin resistance is control your carbs. Control your carbs. Control the carbohydrate foods that you take in. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that get rid completely of carbohydrate foods, because that will make me a hypocrite. Because if you come to Ghana and Africa at large, most of our foods are carbohydrate dense foods. Yeah, they are so starchy and carbohydrate dense foods. So it is impossible to get rid of them totally. Because taking the rice dishes, for instance, we have the jollof rice, the wachi, the fried rice, the plain rice, the braised rice, and all the rice, and taking the bamboo, the fufu, the yams, the tz. I mean, all these foods are highly carbohydrate foods, so it is impossible to get rid of them. However, we can do our part by limiting the amount of carbohydrate that we take in. Yes, so we have to control the amount of carbohydrate that we take. We also have to be very mindful with regards to the time when these carbohydrate foods are taken. Imagine taking a food like fufu or bangun at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Like, what are you doing to your body? What are you doing to your digestive system? Because mind you, during that time, during that late hour, our digestive system slows down completely, especially when we go to bed. When we go to bed, our digestive system slows down completely, so there isn't much work going on in there. So when you pile food up or when you eat high carbohydrate dense foods, you are doing more harm to your digestive organs than good. Yes, so we have to be very mindful with regards to the time. You can eat the carbohydrate foods in the afternoons. I highly recommend eating them in the afternoons. The fourth point, which is closely related to the third, is cut down on all processed, highly refined foods and sugars. I call them the white family. White family because just look at white rice, white bread, white pasta, so they are the white family. You have to get rid of these foods because they are going to make your insulin spike and be high all the time. What we have to do instead is to focus on whole grains and increase the intake of proteins. And when I say proteins, I'm not referring to meat. Meat is another topic for another day. I have a lot to say with regards to meat, but we'll save that for another day. What you have to focus on when it comes to your protein intake is your legumes, okay, your lentils, and the soya beans. I highly recommend gobe. I love gobe. I'm part of the gobe family and I love it. I know you love it too, but you just not admit because yeah, I don't know why. But the gobe, the wache, the beans foods, they are so good, so nutritious, and they are so easy to prepare. So I highly recommend the beans foods to anybody watching this video because they are highly nutritional. And one thing about protein is that when you take in just a little, it fills out your body, so you don't end up eating too much, because the more you eat, the more your body releases insulin into your system, and that is what we want to avoid. Okay, so eating these kinds of protein, the legumes, the lentils, the beans, the soyas, that is what we have to actually cultivate because it is very, very nutritious. And not forgetting the healthy fat, like the nut, the seeds, the avocados. Okay, these are the healthiest source of fat that you could ever find on planet Earth. Okay, yeah, and replace the refined oils. Okay, the refined oils, replace them with the coconut oils, with the olive oil, with the avocado oil, because these oils are the best if you're looking to lower your insulin resistance. Also, make sure you are prioritizing your fiber-rich vegetables and fruits like the berries because they slow down digestion and help to avoid those spikes in your blood. Number 5, reduce your meal frequency. I think by far this is the most important point, in my opinion. This is the most important. Like, if you're not taking anything from this video, you definitely have to take this point home, because anytime you eat, okay, your body has to release insulin to deal with this food, and it doesn't matter the type of food you're eating. So you want to make sure you are eating less, because the less you eat, the less insulin comes into your system. I want you to note something. Now, did you know that the reason why you are suffering to lose that weight, the reason why you have excess body fat, is because there's too much insulin in your body? Did you know that? Well, I am telling you today, the reason why you are struggling with your weight, the reason why it looks like you lose weight and then it comes back again, you lose weight, it comes, is because there's way too much insulin in your body. And when there's too much insulin in your body, it is termed hyperinsulinemia. So you have way too much insulin in your body. So if you are someone who has excess body fat, then that means you have way too much insulin in your body and you have to reduce it. How do you reduce it? By reducing your meal frequency. Reducing your meal frequency simply means reducing the number of times you eat per day. It will surprise you to know that some people can eat 6 times a day, some can even eat 10 times a day. They eat as and when food appears before them, and that is wrong, because the more you pile food into your system, the more your body releases more insulin, and the more you become insulin resistant. Okay, and so we want to make sure we have less insulin in our body, right? So it is not advisable to be eating as and when food appears before you, but rather you should control the number of times you eat in a day. I highly recommend eating twice a day. You see, when I started my weight loss journey, I adopted eating twice a day, and it did the magic. That was where the magic started. Okay, so I highly recommend eating twice a day, devoid of the snacks. Okay, yeah, avoid the snacky snacks. We all love the snacks, but it is not healthy. It is not healthy at all. So let's get rid of the snacks and adopt a 2 meal plan a day. All right, yeah. The seed and final point: start intermittent fasting. I know you've been hearing this all over the internet, but take this from me: start intermittent fasting, because most of us are brought up to eating 3 big meals a day and snacking all day long. But what this does is that it elevates our insulin levels, because the moment we eat any food, literally, our body has to release insulin to deal with our food. Okay, so what we want to do is we are eating less, and that is where intermittent fasting comes in. I'm sure most of us don't even know that the more elevated the insulin levels, the more you are gaining weight. So that is the reason why some of us can't just lose weight for good. Like, you lose weight, you come back, you lose weight, you come back. The reason is because you have high insulin levels, and the more elevated your insulin levels, the more you are prone to gaining weight, much weight. And the truth is, our bodies require about 5 hours to bring down the high elevated insulin levels. Okay, so when you eat, you have to give yourself a 5 hour break, because that is where your body brings down the insulin levels. But when you're not giving your body that break, you're not giving that 5 hour break, then you're going to have elevated insulin levels, and that's where you're going to gain lots of weight, and you're going to become insulin resistant, because it's going to be way too much insulin in your body. Yeah, so instead of eating right after waking up from bed, we are going to hold on with the food. Okay, and we're going to drink water, warm water with a little bit of lemon in it, because this is going to help with the cleansing process. When I started my weight loss journey, it wasn't easy for me at all. It wasn't easy. The intermittent fasting thing, it wasn't easy, because I was used to eating anytime I felt like eating, and anytime I saw anything I wanted to eat. But here, like the case, I had to, practice self-denial. I had to practice temperance. I have to be moderate in the way I ate, and I had to control the amount of foods that I was eating. It wasn't easy at all. But one thing I realized is it does lots of benefits for your body. Aside the losing weight, it does so much for your body. So I would usually break my fast at 12. It didn't start with 12. I started with 10 a.m. Then it came to 11. Then it came to 12 p.m. Then it came to 1. And now I can even go 3 p.m. before I break my fast. And that is great. And when I eat at that 3, I don't eat again. So sometimes I practice 2 meals, sometimes I practice just 1 meal a day, and it is so powerful with lowering your insulin resistance, and then also helping to lose weight. So those of us looking to lose weight, you can take this, because it is going to do the magic for you. Yeah, so that is all. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Okay, make sure you're drinking enough water, because the more you drink water, the more you're helping your kidneys to flush out the excess sugar from your bloodstream. And then also make sure that you are engaging in moderate exercise, because it is going to prolong your longevity by 3%, and it's also going to help stimulate your muscles to absorb the excess glucose that has been accumulated in your bloodstream. And the third one is to make sure you're controlling your carbs. Okay, control your carbs. It is very, very important. The fourth one is cut down on all the highly processed, highly refined sugars and the white family. Okay, and then the fifth one is to make sure that you are reducing your meal frequency, that is the number of times you eat in a day. The last and most important one, yeah, is to start intermittent fasting. You can look more into that. Go to YouTube, type intermittent fasting, and you're going to get all the knowledge that you need on it to start with intermittent fasting. All right, I'm going to end the video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.